Okay. All right, let's see what math has in store for us. Boom, 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 boom. The first unit is about functions. Challenge for you guys. I'm going to draw a picture on the board. Let's see who's the first person that can tell what it's a picture of.
Oh, square root.
Not a bad guess. Not a bad guess at all.
Oh, what? Parallelogram.
A rhombus.
Box. Rectangular prism.
You guys are getting closer.
Toaster.
What was that?
Toaster?
It's a toaster, ladies and gentlemen.
That was
Well, that's good.
This is a toaster. Now, I'm drawing a toaster because a toaster is a great example of a function. The rule for something to be a function in math is that when you put one thing into it, only one thing can pop out. Right? One thing in, one thing out. Repeat after me. One thing in, one thing out. Okay. In a toaster, what do you put in a toaster? Bread. Good. You put bread in and one thing pops out, which is, of course, toast. If you were to put bread into a toaster and somehow, along with bread, spaghetti came pouring out of it, you would go crazy, right? Functions means when one thing goes in, only one thing goes out. Here we go. The thing that goes in is called the input, and that's our x value. The thing that goes out is called the output, and that's our y value. Okay, here is an operation, and we're going to decide whether this is a function or not. I'm going to draw a little map for it. So if you look at our first one, we have three x values. They are 0 and 1 and 2. We have two y values. Those y values are 3 and 4. Good stuff. All right, now, look what this says right here. This says that the function is taking 0 and turning it into 3. So 0 is like the bread, and 3 is like the toast. Bread, toast, bread, toast, toast, bread, bread, toast. Okay. This is saying that 1 is getting turned into 4, and then this is saying 2 is getting turned into 4. Okay. Now, is every one of the things that we input going to one place? Yes or no? Is 0 going to one place? Yes. Is 1 going to one place? Is 2 going to one place? Okay, then our answer is yes. This right here, f, is a function. Nice. Let's do one more. This is G. G has two inputs. They are 0 and 2, two of my favorite numbers. Has three outputs, 3, 4, and -6. G sends 0 to 3, it sends 0 to 4, and it sends 2 to -6. Are all of the inputs being sent to one place? I have a vote for no. Which input is not being sent to one place? Yeah, 0 is going to two places. Ladies and gentlemen, look right here. This is putting bread in the toaster and getting toast and spaghetti. Do you see how it's going to two places? That means this is not a function. No, because x equals 0 goes to 2 places. Okay. So that's skill number 1 for today. You need to be able to distinguish something that is a function from something that is not a function. And again, it's not a function if an x goes to 2 different y values. Ooh, so with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at the 6 pictures right here. Ba-ba, 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 ba-ba. 4 of these are functions. 2 of these are not functions because an x is getting sent to 2 different y's. Now, I know we're kind of spread out here, but if you've got a neighbor, turn to your neighbor and tell your neighbor if you can see it. Can you see at least one of the ones where an x is getting sent to 2 different y's? Okay, hey, I'm looking for a brave soul. Can someone, is there someone willing to tell us where they think one's not a function? Let's go to Kate.
The one on the top, like very right.
This one right here. Give me an example of an x value that's going to 2 different y values.
It's 0.
Yeah. At x equals 0 right here, do you see how x equals 0 happens right here and x equals 0 happens right here? There's 2 different places where it hits. So you guys are right. This one is a no. What's the other one? You guys can just call it out. What's the other one?
Circle.
The circle. Yeah, on the circle, same thing. Doesn't have to be 0. It could be anything. Like right here, x equals 1 gets hit right there and right there. There's a nice little rule for recognizing it, and it's called the vertical line test. If you can draw a vertical line, that's a vertical line, right? You can draw a vertical line. That's a vertical line right there. If you can draw a vertical line and it will hit the curve at more than one place, then it is not a function. So no and no, and the reason is that they fail a vertical line test. What are we wondering about? Sarah?
There's another one.
Oh, there is. You are right. There's actually 3 of them. What other one fails?
What?
What other one fails?
The bottom left.
The bottom left, yeah. A vertical line. Does a vertical line fail a vertical line test? Oh, you betcha. So this one is a no as well. Okay, good catch. The others are yes, yes, and yes. Anything else we're wondering about? Anything else that you think I messed up? Okay, flip the page. There's a lot going on in lesson 1. We're not going to do the whole thing today. We are going to finish the next page. This is about notation and operations. So all of this stuff is about x and y values. Our first function is f of x is equal to 5x minus 8. Anyone know what kind of function this is? Like, is it, yeah, it's a linear function. So here's a linear function. When it says f and then the parentheses and then 3, you read this as f of 3. And this is saying your x value is 3. What's the y value that's going to go with it? You guys have heard this before. So all you need to do is say, well, I'm going to plug x in right there. I'm going to go 5 times 3 minus 8. Okay, I can handle that. And that would be 15 minus 8, which would give us 7. Okay, so if you see notation that looks like this, what's happening is that you're being given x, and you're coming up with the y value over here. On the flip side, take a look at B. This says determine the value of x if f of x is equal to 3. So this is different than this. Those are not the same even though they both have 3 in them. This one is saying, there's your y value. Your y is 3. Figure out what x is. Now, sadly, this one's a little more work. Because what you need to do is say, I know what f of x is. I know f of x is 5x minus 8. So this says that 5x minus 8 is equal to 3. And now you're trying to find x, so all you need to do is solve that equation. So in the case of this one, we'd say add an 8 on. 5 times the x value is 11. Divide by 5s. X is going to be 11 over 5. Okay. What kind of questions you guys have? Because I'm going to call on you a little bit as we go through the rest of the page. So if you wonder about something, ask me now. Okay. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're taking a look at the second one. What kind of function is this? Anybody? It's not linear, right? Because it's got that squared on it. Yeah, it's quadratic. So this is a quadratic function. Okay. Now, first thing right there, it says g of 0. Gabe, I'm going to pick on you. Is that the x value or the y value? That's the x, yeah. So x is 0. And so it's asking us for the y value. How are you going to come up with the y value? Keep going, Gabe. Yep. So we would say 0 squared plus 5 times 0 minus 14. And Gabe, what's that going to give us? Negative 14. Nice. Okay. B. B says determine x for which g of x is equal to 0. David, I'm coming your way for this one. Right here, that 0, is that the x or the y value? The what? What's not one of the options?
What? The y.
The y, the y. Okay, cool. So if we want to find the x now, David, what do we have to do?
Set the thing equal to y.
Okay, so by the thing you mean,
The equation.
yeah, so x squared plus 5x minus 14 equals 0. Okay, and now you can solve this however you want. By the way, this right here, I won't ask you about functions, but that right there is something that could come up on Tuesday on the prequel. And I would do this one by factoring. So x and x. Can you guys give me two numbers that multiply to negative 14 and add up to 5? Negative 2 and 7. Okay, I like it. Therefore, this one's going to have two solutions. The first solution is 2. The second one is negative 7. Question? Okay. All right, we're moving along. Boom, 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 boom. Let's take a look at example number 3. We've got two guys here. We've got Hector and we've got Mortimer. Have you ever met a Mortimer? It's a real name. Hector and Mortimer here. Okay, this is square root, cube root. Let's start with A right here. And Andre, I'm coming to you. Is this asking us about Hector or Mortimer? Hector, okay. And then is this right here the x or the y value? I'll give you one more guess. That is the x value. If it says h of something, this is always the x value, which means we're trying to find the y value. Okay. What do you want to do with that 27 to find the y value? Okay, so we're going to go, Hector is square root of x minus 11. And then we're going to simplify that. 27 take away 11 is, what, 16? And the square root of 16 is 4. That's your answer. Okay, I'm going to move along to B. B says m of 27. Preston, I'm coming to you. What is this asking us to do? So we're going to go cube root of 27 plus 11. I like it. Now, it's probably been a minute for you guys on cube roots. Cube root means what number multiplied by itself would give you 27. And by, I mean, multiplied by itself 3 times. So there's a number out there. If you multiply it and multiply it and multiply it, you get 27. What is that number? Yeah, right? 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So this is going to be equal to 3 plus 11 is going to give us 14. We're cruising. All right, let's go to the next one, C. And Logan, what is that asking you?
To solve Hector on x and 7.
Okay, so what are you going to do to figure that out?
Plug in 7 for x.
Okay.
7 minus 11 is square root.
Okay, I like that. Oh, and Logan, if you wouldn't mind keeping going, 7 minus 11, what is that?
-4.
So we have the square root of -4. Ooh, can you take the square root of a negative number? So this one is going to be undefined.
But can't we do 2i?
Yeah, you can do 2i. I like 2i. For the first like month, we're going to pretend I doesn't exist, or at least I am. But if you want to go 2i, I'm fine with that. So I guess I would accept 2i. I would accept undefined. I would also, this is an undefined symbol, like a 0 with a little slash through it. Any of those is groovy. Okay, let's move on over here. Next one, D. And Jenna, I'm coming your way. What is this asking us to do? For m of x. Okay, so that would be the cube root of -8 plus 11. Okay, now before you go and write undefined, is there a number that if you multiply it by itself 3 times, you'll get -2? I see a couple of you nodding. Can someone think of a number you multiply it by itself 3 times, you get -8? What are you thinking? Yeah. -2 times -2 times -2 is -8. So while here you get a negative with the square root, you're done. With the cube roots, you can get a negative. This will be -2 plus 11 is 9. Okay, moving along. Let's take a look at E. And Faisal, I'm coming to you for this one. It says determine x for which h of x is equal to 5. Faisal, is this an x value or a y value?
That's a y value.
Okay, and so if we want to find the x value, what do we need to do?
You need to plug in the hx solution down to the bottom and make it equal to 5.
Okay, so we've got something that looks like this. I like that. Now, this is not a hard problem to solve, but I don't think we've done one like this year. Anyone think they know what we need to do operation-wise? Let's go to Jake.
Square the 5, or square both sides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you see a square root, the inverse of square rooting is squaring. Okay, so Jake, what's that going to leave us with over here?
X minus 11 equals 25.
I like it. And then we just add 11 to both sides. And there's 36. Okay, let's do one more of those. I'm looking at F and, is it Lilia? I say it correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm coming to you. What is this asking us to do?
Set the solution equal to 5.
Okay, so what am I going to write?
Threes, 3 and then whatever it's called.
You got everybody. We can call that the cube root
Okay.
of x.
And then plus 11 equals 5.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And then Lilia, if you wouldn't mind, keep going. What would we do next?
Subtract 11 from both sides.
Uh-huh. So the cube root of x is negative 6. And then Lilia, would you be willing to take a shot at the last step?
No clue.
Okay. You want to pass it to somebody else. Cube root. Well, let's come back here. Square root, the inverse was squaring. So cube root, the inverse would be? Yeah. You're going to take both sides, and you're going to cube it. On this side, the cube root and the cube, they undo each other. On the other side, the cube of negative 6, you are welcome to use a calculator for this. I know this one because I teach math all day. It's negative 216. Home stretch. We got 4 more. Boo, 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 boo. Let's go to number 4. Here's k of x. K is for Kevin. Okay. Yeah, let's go with Kevin. I like Kevin better. So here's Kevin, and I'm looking at A right here, and 7. What are we going to do with Kevin?
You're going to plug in 10.
Okay, so what would that look like?
10 plus 2 over 10 minus 7.
Okay, and keep going with that 7.
And it would be 12 over 3
Okay,
is 4.
that's 4. Okay, so that was pretty straightforward. Good stuff. Evie, I'm coming to you for the next one. What do we do with Kevin here?
I'm gonna plug 7 in for x.
Okay, so what would that look like?
7 plus 2 over 7 minus 7.
Mm-hmm.
So then k is equal to 9 over 0.
Yes. Okay. Warning. 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 Boop, 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 boop. Right there. That's trouble. You can't divide by 0. Look what it says on my mug. It's all fun and games until someone divides by 0. When you divide by 0, the world explodes. You can't do it. So guess what your answer is? Undefined. Two more. Let's take a look at C here. Maggie, we haven't heard from you yet. What is this asking us to do?
Okay, so wouldn't you have to plug in 3 for x?
No. When it's inside the parentheses, that means you're looking at x. Here, this is y. So if 3 is y, that means we want x. How are we going to go about getting that? Well, here's Kevin. Kevin looks like this. He's a handsome fellow. We want to set him equal to 3. This is another one. I wouldn't be surprised if something like this right here were to pop up on your prequel quiz on Tuesday. If you wanted to solve this, I would do this. Bup, bup. Fraction is equal to fraction. Ooh, when you have 2 fractions that are equal to each other, that's called a proportion. And you can, yes, Sarah?
Could you multiply both sides by x minus 7?
Yes, you can. You may. That'll work. You can also do it this way. You can say the product of these 2 values is equal to the product of these 2 values. So 3 times the quantity x minus 7 is equal to 1 times the quantity x plus 2. And then you just solve that equation. 3x minus 21. Take x away from both sides. 2x's minus 21 is 2. Two x is 23. So x would be equal to half of 23. All right. We got 7 minutes left in class. We got one problem to go. Yes, sir.
Do you like mixed numbers or just leave it like 23 over 2?
I can roll with whatever. Okay, I usually leave them as fractions, but I like a mixed number. Last one says, this one's kind of different. It says, determine the solutions to f of x is equal to g of x. And you need to go hunt those two equations down. Does anyone see where f of x is on your page? It's at the top, right? So f of x is 5x minus 8. Once again, where did I get that? It's at the top of the page. G of x, y'all see where g of x is? That was x squared plus 5x minus 14. So we want to solve this equation. This one's a little trickier, but we got some hot shots in here. Anyone willing to throw out an idea of what we would do first to solve this one? Let's go to Sadie.
We equal it to 0.
Equal it to 0. Okay. So that means we need to move everything to one side. I would recommend you move everything to the side with x squared on it. It'll be easier. So that would mean we're going to subtract 5x. Ooh, now interesting. Do you guys see that the x squared term is going to go away? Or the x term is going to go away? So now we've got this. If there's no x term, I actually think it's easier for you to solve it by square roots. So here's what I would do at this point. I would add the 14 to both sides. That leaves you with x squared on this side, and on the other side, what would that be, 6? Okay. One step and we're done. What do we need to do? Yep. Root 6, and if you say the answer is that x is equal to the square root of 6, you have found half of the answers, but you're missing the other half.
Square root of 3 and
Oh, you're like breaking it apart? I don't think we need to because 3 and 2 aren't perfect squares. It wouldn't be wrong to do that, but we can't break it down. We're missing half the answers. Plus or minus, yeah. You got that. Okay, that's it for our first lesson. Turn to your neighbor, say nice work. Nice work. Okay. No home practice on this. Just come on Tuesday ready for the prequel.